Hey, what's up guys? The Berserker has bounced her way into the Clash Royale arena. It's a 2 elixir common card with really fast attack speed. She doesn't do that much damage with each attack, barely being able to 2-shot stab goblins. But she's one of the fastest attacking cards in the game, hitting even faster than a Dark Goblin. Berserker's got a little bit less than half the health of a Knight, though she's kind of squishy if your opponent's able to lock onto her. But she's not going to get cost effectively removed by any spells like a bait card would. She'll be able to survive Fireball or Poison, making her an ideal defensive unit against Mega Knights, Valkyries, and Bandits. I found the best way to use Berserker is with all of the fast attacking cards with Rune Giant. Rune Giant's still beyond busted with Inferno Dragon and Lumberjack. And when you have a raged up Goblin Giant and Goblinstein as a tank, you'll have your fast attacking push survive a lot longer. Your high damage Inferno Dragons, Lumberjacks, and Berserkers can appreciate the big buffs from the Rune Giant. It's time to go Berserk with the fastest attack speed possible to maximize our Rune Giant buffs and assert dominance. And big Berserker love to everyone that's supporting the channel with credit code SirTag. Alright, it is time to cook up some shenanigans with our Berserker. I think that if they released it as it was originally, it would have been the most underwhelming card ever. It's not the best thing in the world still, but it's pretty darn good if you can play it with the right cards. For instance, if you rage it up and then use the Rune Giant, it attacks so fast that the damage amplification is going to be nice. Essentially, it's not going to do much unless you get the right cards with it, but yeah, I deleted a Royal Ghost, which is great, and then it should lock on to the Electro Wizard here too, so let's see how it goes. Nice! Does it hit the tower as well? Oh my gosh, wait. I can't see how much damage we dealt because he was crying so much, but half of his tower is shredded, so I guess the new meta tactic is to emote so hard that your opponents don't know what's happening. I'm going to go for Berserker with a Goblin Giant right now, and I think this is going to be a good play because his P.E.K.K.A is out of cycle. It might just be over. Yeah, he's saying good game. Sometimes that happens. First day of the season, we're playing this deck, and we are wrecking everyone. So it's a good sight to see where the Berserker, brand new card, first time I've ever played it, and it's intuitive. Basically, it does the same damage per second as a Knight. It doesn't do as much damage as a Knight from each hit, but combining that with the amount of attacks it gets off, that's what damage per second means. It's gonna do the same amount. It does less damage per hit, but attacks more frequently, so the damage per second is around the same. I think for the rest of the game, I'm just gonna continuously go for Inferno Dragons, melt P.E.K.K.As, and win the game. The game got slightly more sketchy than I would have wanted, but we did take the win. The dude ended up having an Electro Wizard on my Inferno Dragon. I kind of like zoned off into space. I was like, oh wait, that's not how it's supposed to go down. So if you are ever overconfident and you think that your opponent doesn't have a card and you misremember things, sometimes it can get a little bit out of hand. I'm not gonna lie, without the Berserker damage at the start, the dude had P.E.K.K.A and he had Electro Wizard, so he definitely counters my Inferno Dragon Goblin Giant deck otherwise. So I think that if the Berserker didn't win us the match at the start, we might not have won otherwise. So I've learned a little lesson. We can't have water while we're playing Clash Royale, or we're swimming in a pool of our own tears, flooded by our failures. I'm gonna go in for a Goblin Giant at the bridge because I feel like if there was a moment to do it, it would be when your opponent's Sparky's in the back. Definitely want him to either sacrifice the Sparky. Oh my gosh, you know what? He is definitely not going to have a good moment here. We can go Goblin Giant and just Inferno Dragon the P.E.K.K.A and then Goblinstein on top of the Sparky. So sure, we lose a little bit of damage here, but there's no way you're gonna have Electro Wizard. We're not gonna get finessed by Electro Wizard 2 times in a row. It's just not possible right now. Let's go. Bro went for a Lumberjack instead, and we can pop ability on it. I think Lumberjack is toasted and roasted. And we're able to get a lot of damage on the tower with the ability. So he actually has Musketeer. So that is a card that I wasn't anticipating. There is one thing that I have to be real with y'all about. When it's my first time playing another orange-haired individual, it's not necessarily going to be the nicest thing for me because I have to retrain my brain not to cycle the Rune Giant instead of the Berserker. Like, I'll think that the Rune Giant and the Berserker are the same card, I think. I don't know if y'all are ever the same. You mix up the colors and you're just subconsciously vibing, having a good time, and then you find out, oh wait, I shouldn't have cycled that. It's the worst feeling in the world. Especially when you think like a purple card is, you know, not going to be poison, then you drop a poison on your tower. If you've ever done that before, let me know. It happens all the time when I'm grinding this game way too much and I am at 0 brain cells. Like for instance, when 20-win challenge comes around, sometimes I just zone off and then I forget like what I'm cycling and it's just awful. With 1,000 games played, that happens. So this guy is in a pretty bad spot because the Gobstein is going to be able to tank for that last Sparky shot enabling us an opportunity to go Rune Giant with an Inferno Dragon, throw down the Berserker, and see what happens. I mean, this is definitely going to be doomsday for this. Okay, he's got the Evo Lumberjack, it looks like, and it's dead, but now it's still alive. Feels bad, man. Wonder if we can 3-crown you. I mean, we've got the Inferno Dragon still with the Rune Giant buff. The Lumberjack is putting in lots of work. I'm going to go and rage this up. The Inferno Dragon's on the 3-crown, and it's over. This deck is diabolical. The amount of damage that the Inferno Dragon still outputs despite the Rune Giant getting a nerf is extremely underrated. If you didn't know, with the Rune Giant buff, Inferno Dragons counter Electro Dragons and Electro Wizards, the cards that are meant to beat it. Pairing fast attacking cards like the Berserker and Inferno Dragon with the Rune Giant makes you the most mischievous menace in the meta. All right, here we go. Let's get it. 3-crowning one person, destroying the first dude, and then kind of throwing the game and then still winning. Always feels good. So I'm waiting for him to cycle something in the back, and if he cycles something in the side, we'll just go for a God Giant. I really do enjoy spamming like a savage, and I prefer cycling our evolutions as much as possible. So I'm going to go Rune Giant in front, then I'm going to Lumberjack, because the Rune Giant is going to buff up the Lumberjack and the Goblin Giant. So even after the nerf to Goblin Giant with the Rune Giant, it's still fine. A lot of times you're going to get so much damage still, so it's not that bad. It attacks pretty quickly with the Rage. And he's going to pop ability, but still at the same time, the Spear Goblins are not getting concentrated by his Cannoneer. And the Cannoneer fires so slowly anyway that it doesn't even matter. Like, his Goblinstein Doctor is half damaging a Spear Goblin, doesn't kill it. Then the Cannoneer takes a sweet time to kill the same Spear Goblin. And it just feels like he's doubling up on damage for no reason. Anyway, we're going to go in for our Goblin Giant here. I think the Lumberjack is going to be very beneficial for us if we can get that down. I'm going to go Rune Giant here as well. And the thing is, I don't think that it moves that fast. And it doesn't have that much health. So it's a good 2 elixir cycle card for sure, especially if you're on a budget and you're trying to spam things with a Rune Giant. But at the same time, it's not like the Berserker is crazy tanky. It's really not even close to the Knight's health, despite doing the Knight's amount of damage per second. So I'm going to go in for a Lumberjack here, and we should be able to one-shot almost all of those Goblins real quick. I do want to go in for a Berserker with a Lumberjack ideally, and we'll see if we can rage that up and then get a double rage or something. Well, I don't know. I think that this will probably be beneficial if we can get a good rage. So then the Berserker and the Lumberjack are going to be paired pretty well together, because obviously if the opponent's overspending on distracting the Berserker, they won't have as many distractions for the Lumberjack that gets raged up twice. Like, it's just stupid. The Evolved Lumberjack definitely is one of the best cards to ever grace this game. I'm going to go in for a Rune Giant in front of the Goblin Giant evolution soon, hopefully. But this one is just going to be kind of a solo push. I don't think that this guy's able to win. I just want to see what the Berserker does here. Is it going to put in work? Is it going to take out the tower like it did in the first game? Not quite. So maybe the first game was just showcasing its true strength when it isn't getting attacked. But because if it's low amount of health, it doesn't always put in that amount of damage per second or get that opportunity to do its massive value for 2 elixir. Because I think in the first game for 2 elixir, it was a very, very good deal. Afterwards, it just seems like it's dying more frequently in other situations. So y'all let me know down below in the comment section. Do you think the Berserker is a good card? Do you think it's a bad card? Do you think it's middle of the road? For me, I think it's a decent card. I think it works pretty well with this deck, especially when you're able to abuse like the fast attack speed with the Rune Giant. But the setup isn't always successful. So if I would say like 2 out of 3 games right now, it's been okay, and 1 game it's been overpowered. Like, you know, a decent card, but not a card that's an auto-include in all your decks. We've won 3 games in a row without any issues. Let's see if we can poke down Mr. Pork. So, oh, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't be that person that just spams a Dark Goblin at the fridge, hoping that I'm drinking my water. You know what, guys? It's a common theme here. People do not want me to stay hydrated, which is bad for my health. They don't care about me, apparently. And if you do know me, I drink a copious amount of water to the point that it's probably unhealthy. Some of my friends, when we played tennis competitively, would drink too much water to the point that they would dilute their body and they had to like go to the emergency room. So it is possible to overhydrate. Maybe he's concerned for me. Maybe that's it. Maybe he knows. Anyway, we're going to go in for a Goblin Giant Rage here. And I think that you are probably not going to get an amazing trade here. Let's see. Does it die? Yeah, it dies the ability so fast. So even though it does do a ton of damage, the health is leaving a lot to be desired. So John Pork put his trust in the Berserker, and it completely just didn't do what it was supposed to. However, this lumberjack is going to hurt my feelings. There's no doubt about it. However, we are definitely... Yeah, you know, it would be cool if my lumberjack would attack yours and stop it. Is this Clash Royale now? I can't do anything. You just let it take my tower. That's a good card. That's fair and balanced. Yep. Good job. Good job. You played so well. You know what? I'm going to do the same dirty thing to you because this is what you deserve. We're going to go for Rune Giant, tanking for the Goblin Giant. We're immediately going to go and drop our Berserker at 2 Elixir because I feel like this is definitely going to be a good play. If we can get anywhere near the Inferno Dragon with our Goblin Giant, I think we might be able to kill it if we're lucky. Ugh. Not as much damage as we were hoping for. And we also didn't even get the buff on the Berserker. So I wonder if we're going to have problems here. I don't think so because I can go Gobstein. Can you chill for a second? You are sacrilegiously sacking all of your Elixir and just spamming me. The Inferno Dragon with the freaking Rune Giant is still S tier. Like, Rune Giant got a nerf with a couple cards, but the Inferno Dragon, Mighty Miner, oh, those things are irking and scaring me. It's not so fun when the opponent does it to me, but I'm loving it. I'm McLoving it with all my big vitamins when, you know, I'm the person doing it. I'm going to go for a Goblin Giant here, so then we get to reset his Inferno Dragon ideally, and then... I'm okay losing our Inferno Dragon. I just need to continuously kite his Inferno Dragon and not lose the game here. I'm going to arrows, I'm going to rage, and I think we're good to go. I'm going to go for another Lumberjack here. Hey, Berserker, can you take the tower to just proclaim that you're okay? Okay, I didn't even take the tower. That's kind of sad. But here we go. Here we go. We're going to pull his Berserker with ours, and I think we lose that interaction because he's got the Rune Giant buff. How bad is it for us, though? Is it going to 3-crown me? Nah, it just dies the arrows. Damn. That's kind of pitiful that it did that. And he's going to get 3-crown. Wow. What a fun game. All right. I thought that he was going to lose by a lot, and then he came back because the overpowered Lumberjack evolution. I just don't even know what that thing does anymore. Like, I'm looking at it, and I'm expecting the timer to run out, and then it just takes my tower from full HP. It's like, maybe they shouldn't have balanced it in that way at all. Personally, I think the Lumberjack evolution should have had a set timer. So, you know, it can't be increased by a second rage. That's just me, but I'm not a huge fan of it taking out a tower from full HP with 0 counter Clash Royale. On the other hand, the Berserker, I think it's pretty fairly balanced. Like, you definitely have to have it behind tanks or use it at the right moments, and you're going to get value from it if you play it well, but it's not like the Evolved Lumberjack where you're always getting value. Let's go. This guy is getting his banner broken to bits. Okay, well, I am playing against Dagger Duchess, so that's fine. I'm okay with this. Why does everyone have this obsession of spamming a Dart Goblin at the bridge? I guess they're like, Dart means fast, so I gotta do that. I don't really know. Okay, that was the worst ability of my life. Hopefully the ability didn't even get off. I don't think it did. Anyway, we will be able to body block an Electro Wizard if he decides to do that. Is he just gonna lose the P.E.K.K.A. and lose everything and then allow us to go Berserker behind the Rune Giant? Honestly, not bad. I think I could have kept the Rune Giant at a bit of a higher health, but it is what it is. Yeah, Berserker dies to so much, honestly. But we're going to rage up our Inferno Dragon, then it's going to die to the freaking Demolisher. Oh, pitiful. If only we had a little bit more health on that thing. If only I didn't sacrifice that P.E.K.K.A. shot into my freaking Rune Giant. I mean, there's just so many giants in the game. It took me a split second. I was processing in my brain. You guys could see the gears churning. Oh my goodness, dude. Seriously, you need to learn how to play the game instead of dropping your Dark Goblins, which is a defensive card at the bridge. What are you doing? So many people do that these days. It's insane. Also, I can't arrows because then I would die to the Mega Knight. So you always have to be like, how much elixir do I have? Okay, I don't have enough. All right, I guess I got to do this. We're going to stop the Mega Knight from jumping. We're going to go and drop our Berserker off to the side and see how well it does against the Mega Knight. So it does do quite a bit of damage if it's able to ramp up. Like, that's noticeable. That was decent. I'm not going to lie, that felt pretty good. It only seems really good with Rune Giant, though. In all the situations that I'm dropping it alone, it doesn't seem like it's really unlocking maximum damage potential where I'm actually impressed. Seems like, you know, it's doing things, but it's not great things. I'd much rather be cycling my Lumberjacks as often as I can. Okay, so we're going to arrows on this, just so the Dark Goblin isn't going to be that big of a nuisance. I can also try to go in for a Goblin Giant to kite the P.E.K.K.A., and I think that's going to be our best bet. So I'm going to go and drop our Rune Giant in the back, and the side that we're going to be prepared to drop our Goblin Giant, is I just think this is definitely the best option that we have available. And then I can go in for a Berserker on the remnants of the guards if we needed to, but I don't even think that's that big of a deal. We can just continuously kite him with Goblin Giant and Gobstein, and then, you know, just gobble up all this stuff. Also, he's going to give us more arrows value, so this is decent. It's weird how the Mega Knight just knocks everything back in the air. It's like, I don't know. He's like, not today. Can't jump over my river. This is my territory. I don't know, dude. I don't like it. I'm going to go in for Rune Giant, Lumberjack Evolution, and also the Berserker all on the same side and just possibly get max value from that. The 2 cards that we wanted to hopefully get as high as we can. We'll see what they do. I'm going to arrows here as well. Berserker's on the tower, so that's decent. Lumberjack's going to put in mad work, though. And I think that he loses the game to this if I just rage it up, because it's not going to die. Great. Fair and balanced gameplay. The Berserker did help out there, but it only did like 10% of the offensive work there on the left side. Still a cool card to combo with the fast attack speed for only 2 elixir. You can't really go wrong with it. At least with a Rune Giant, you can't go wrong with it. After we started playing this deck, we've been on a total tear, winning every single game with it, and genuinely, it doesn't feel fair. All right, it's time to see if we can hunt our last win against Mr. Ethan. We definitely do want to go for a Lumberjack at the start because it is definitely the best card available for us. And he's going to go Wall Breakers, so I should eat 1 hit from the Wall Breaker on the right side and then just go in for Berserker on the Musketeer if I had it. It's so cheap, right? I literally got it last card. For 2 elixir, we'll be able to melt the Musketeer and feel really good about our position in the game. But, you know, sometimes you're just dealt unfortunate situations and the cards that you are having are just like a little bit suboptimal. I was digging deep and I did not get what I wanted. Now he's hee-hee-hawing at me, but pixelated. Bro, that is so disrespectful. How dare you? How dare you? So Musketeer Barbarians makes me feel a bit uncomfy. I don't even know what I'm playing into anymore. But I do know one thing. The guy is a wild child, and he is a little bit of a mean man. Anyone that decides to BM when they're winning, I just got to show them that they aren't allowed to do that. So I'm going to go in for a Rune Giant when I get this chance, and then maybe go Goblin Giant with it. I do think popping the ability here is definitely worth it if we're able to keep the Doctor alive a little bit longer. I love that. And then we're going to go Goblin Giant with this. Nah, we won't be able to. We got to go Rune Giant. Yeah, we got Rune Giant with the Lumberjack. And then we're going to try to use Berserker with this as well. I mean, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to rage it up so then the Lumberjack stays alive a little bit longer. And the Berserker is also getting the benefit, but it dies so fast comparatively. If you don't have the right support, it's just not going to be built to last. It's built different in a bad way sometimes. It's fine, though. It is what it is. You seriously can't expect it to survive a lot of different sources of splash damage or piercing damage in that situation. But, you know, if it costs a little bit more elixir, like 3 elixir, then I think it would be very, very strong for its stats. I'm going to go in for Goblin Giant here. And by I mean strong for its stats, I mean it would get buffed, so then it would be very strong. A fast attacking card for 3 elixir would be really cool. But I also like it for 2 too. I mean, there aren't too many 2 elixir cards, so I'm a big fan of them adding more 2 and 3 cost cards. However, then it improves cycle deck gameplay, which I don't necessarily know if we need that. I'm going to go in for Berserker, and I think it will be able to clean up most of that stuff. And if it doesn't, it's okay. But yeah, really good. We're going to Rune Giant with the Firecracker. He's got a random witch in there. What is this wild child doing? I wonder if we can kill the witch. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Yeah, let's go for Rune Giant. Pop the ability on everything. He thought that we were going to go in with the Rune Giant on the right, but oh my gosh. Wait. It's looking really good. I think we just go Berserker Rage. We take the tower on the left, and if the Berserker can clean up all the Barbarians, yes, sir. Look at that. That is definitely worth it. So yeah, Berserker cheaply is able to defend and just be a tank that you need in certain situations. And yeah, I mean, the Berserker here again is going to clean up the Mega Knight, but all intents and purposes, I think it's a great card paired with Rune Giant, maybe some cycle decks, and it's cool because it beats a lot of mid-ladder monsters too. Being able to defend against cards like a Barbarians or maybe a Valkyrie or a 4 or 5 cost card for a 2 elixir investment is a big thumbs up for me, especially in extremely offense-oriented decks like ours, because you don't have the room for Skeletons and Ice Spirit for creative card combinations on defense. You just have room for 1 card, and a 2 elixir card like Berserker that fulfills the role of offense with Rune Giant and defense against cards that are higher cost for a positive elixir trade really is the master of all. That being said, the Berserker is not a broken card. It's a nice to have support card that functions fairly well with the right card synergies. Axe the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and have an amazing rest of your day.